And so that's our responsibility, is to embody that love and be able to have it overflowing. Now all of a sudden you become magnetic, and not just to people. I called my husband in through this practice for sure, but also abundance.
That sounds like some witchy shit.
It's witchy, but it's, and I wasn't like, calling my husband in. No, I was just embodying the love that I had for myself. And that overflowing became this magnetic, and really what it is you start to see. So I like to explain it as the masculine and the feminine. You have the masculine, which is this God presence. Okay. And then the feminine, which is the body. We're here to bring that God presence into the body, right? We're here to embody. That's why heaven on earth, right? We're bringing it in. And what you start to feel in the mirror is you start to see yourself as God witnessing its own creation. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's literally like, and that's of course, more advanced. You've got to continue being very devotional in your practice, but eventually you start to see yourself as this, wow, look at this creation embodied. How beautiful, right? So now it's this other level where you start opening up the multidimensional aspects, which is fun. It's like you start to see yourself not just in this form, but who you were in all of these other incarnations, right? I am a warrior. I am, the Magdalene. It's like you start to kind of see yourself as all of these multidimensional aspects. And again, it opens up more for you. So it's this beautiful journey into being able to see yourself for what you really are, which is incredibly beautiful and unique and precious and like nothing else that has ever been or ever will be.
Wow. So I just came to this big realization recently as well, that I now look at relationships in an entirely new light. In that the relationship that you have and you experience, and this could be any kind of relationship, could be business, could be friendship, it could be romantic, is a direct relationship to the mirror of how you perceive yourself. So you could literally look at your life and the degree to which you experience true self-love by assessing the relationships that you have attracted into your life. So when you say you called in your divine masculine, I definitely understand what you mean by that, because it's like you can have different relationships that might be perfect and might be idyllic from one perspective, but then can become toxic in others. And this is a reflection of how you perceive yourself. The things that you don't like about yourself tend to be the things that you will find in those relationships reflected back to you, because we attract everything we judge until we no longer judge what we attracted. And the moment that we're ready for true self-love is when you manifest and bring in this higher order divine relationship. And even that, my whole way of looking at relationships is entirely new now, because I realize it's an evolving thing, just as our own consciousness and our own self-love is evolutionary.
Absolutely.
And this has been a powerful realization for me, in that now I'm starting to look at all of my relationships in this light, which is what's serving and what's no longer serving. What's part of the old me that I'm still carrying, and what's part of the new me. It's like skate to where the hockey puck is going, not to where it's been.
Yeah.
So for me, this has led me to, I decided a few months ago that I was going to leave all of my memberships, like clubs and stuff like that. It's funny that you worked in the country club. I have been a member of all these types of things, and I literally have decided to leave all of it, because it no longer reflects who I am today. It's a legacy of who I was before. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with what I experienced or what I did. It's just not where I want to necessarily put my emphasis and time today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that to me, I think, is just part of a path, of a chosen path.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, you actually mentioned that when Eisen and I were talking on the phone with you too. And to me, that, right, looking outside for the mirrors of, to just be reflected back to that love that needs to happen deeper within yourself. And for me, that is connected to the energy of Gemini. When we look at Gemini, Gemini is the lost twin, and it's inherently separate. So when we're in this aspect of our journey, and it doesn't go in order necessarily, but when we're focused, on this Gemini energy or third house energy, it becomes where you're starting to notice separation. So in that third house, like when we're doing that journey around the wheel, it's also when you're starting to understand your ego, and you're saying, hey, I'm different than you. You're separate than me. But when we say, hey, you're separate than me, we're also saying I'm separate from the divine. So there's this separation that occurs on our soul journey. And it is like a house of mirrors. Now you're going to go on and you're going to learn about yourself through the interactions of literally everything. And like you said, you are the conductor and the creator and all of it. And so you are creating this game, this simulation, to be able to mirror back to you where it is that you still, if, for example, like I had this pattern where I would be with a guy who would be very verbally abusive to me, call me names, right? And it was like one guy after another. And I'm thinking, again, how do I keep finding what's happening? Like, what are the odds? Like, what are the odds that I'm with another guy?
It's a pretty low mathematical probability.
Who's calling me these like terrible names and stuff. I didn't understand, And of course you try to.
Was he putting you in like memes and stuff too?